Hey, it's Chris, and one of the most common questions I get is, how loud is the Peloton bike? Let's see if we can answer that in today's video. So I've made up a few scenarios here that we can compare the sound of the Peloton bike to other things that you could experience in your house and see if it's louder than that or quieter than that. And it'll give you an idea of how loud it actually is. So here's the setup. I have my iPad running a sound decibel reading app here, and it displays the decibels that it hears here. And you can see I'm about a foot away talking, and it's about in the 60s. Now I have my iPhone recording that, and I'm also going to swap to the iPhone audio so you can hear. So I don't have a special microphone that's extra sensitive. I'm just gonna use my iPhone to kind of replicate what it would sound like if you were here in the room. So the first scenario is, this is normal conversational audio. I'm using my iPhone here, down here, to do some of the sound recordings. You can hear what it'll sound like. So next up, we have clipping into the Peloton bike. And now we are riding. So let's see what that is compared to, again, conversational audio. We have the decibel reader down there. Now we'll move fast. And now we'll do a clip out. So next up, I want to compare how the Peloton bike sounds if it's in the room above the Peloton. So this will kind of simulate either the room above it or the room adjacent to the Peloton. It'll give you an idea of how this sounds. So all my tests are done, so let's take a look at the results. So first off, let's start with just regular conversation right beside the bike, and that was in the 50s to 60s. So that's kind of like a baseline of what you would get. You know how if you're just sitting there, not trying to be loud, just talking normally, what that sounds like. So we were getting in the 50 to 60 range for that. And whenever you clip in, it spikes into the 80s, so it is, about 50% louder than just your normal conversation. It's a quick, loud spike and then it's gone, but it is definitely one of the loudest parts of the Peloton. Now, once we started riding, it was in the 40s. So it was less loud than conversational talk, the conversational volume. So it's definitely one of those things that you can hear it when you're in the room, but it's still not as loud as just talking. Clipping out was a little less loud than clipping in, but it still spiked into the 70s and the low 80s, depending on how aggressively you clip out. What's probably a little more relevant is, how does this sound in the room adjacent to or near the Peloton room with the door closed? So with that, normal conversation downstairs showed up in the 20s. I think that was just ambient noise. It wasn't really picking up my conversation. Now, what's interesting is clipping in is the loudest. It was in the high 30s, and if you're probably a little aggressive, it could be into the low 40s. One thing is for sure, using my iPhone audio, nothing special, you could definitely hear the clip in and the clip out. So what's the takeaway from all this? Well, if you are going to be getting up early, people are going to be asleep in your house, and you're going to be clipping in, they're going to hear it even if the door's shut. There is a way around that. What you can do is take your shoes and the day before, clip them into the bike and just leave them there. Then get up in the morning, come downstairs, and just slip your feet into your shoes, tighten them up, and do your ride. And then whenever you're done, don't unclip from the bike, just undo the shoes and get out. One thing is for sure, the actual act of riding the bike is extremely quiet. You could do this in the room right beside someone, even with the doors open, and it's not gonna wake them up. It's gonna be really quiet. The only issue you're gonna have is clipping in and clipping out. And basically, if your Peloton is anywhere in your house, people are gonna hear it whenever you do. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video and answered your questions as to how loud the Peloton bike is. If it did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. If you want to see more videos like this on the Peloton and other cool active lifestyle gadgets, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you have questions or comments about the Peloton bike, then please hit me up down in the comments below and I'll definitely get back to you, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.